Welcome back to Celebrity Radio. It's Alex Belfield talking to some of my favourite people and some of the country's biggest stars. Matt Slack, how are you?
Hey Alex, I'm very well, thank you.
Do you know what? It's so nice to see you again. We keep doing this every year, and here you are back at the biggest pantomime in Britain, at the Birmingham Hippodrome this year, Snow White. Not that it really matters.
Well, in fact, there's a bit of relevance there because my first performance here in Panto was Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, and that was 7 years ago. 7 years ago now. 7 years ago, with Gokwan, Stephanie Beecham. It was John Partridge. I nearly said Alan Partridge. No, John Partridge. Who else was in it? Gary Wilmot, Paul Zerdin, and little old me in the corner as Odd Job. And I was introduced by, by Kudos, and they said, just do a little bit. And I was like, I'm not doing much. Do a little bit. Next year, Jack and the Beans, a bit more. And here we are. 7 years later.
It's amazing what you do. It's a captivating performance, and you've got the great thing of warmth before you even walk out. The minute they see you, before you've said anything, they love you, and then of course you've got to deliver, and it's tough. And I said to you after the show last year, coming up with a new bit every year that's going to wire them is the tough bit, isn't it? Because the expectation gets higher and higher.
It does. I mean, it's nice to be loved, and I do not ever take that for granted. That is something that's very, very special. In fact, just Jill, who's Doreen Tipton, right? Brilliant. She said to me, they love you, and I know, I get it, but she said, no, you're like, I'm like, wow, that's incredible. I'm very, very proud of that. I'm very grateful, and that gives me a lot of humility. I think it's just nice to know that I've crafted that through sheer hard work, and that's why I put the effort in throughout the year. I sit there rocking, going, what am I going to do? It's got to be good. It can't just be, that'll do. No, and that's why, my routines you'll see all over the country.
Yeah.
Stop nicking. It takes me months, and I'm after you. You'll be, yeah.
I think one of the things about Birmingham Hippodrome too, because it is the biggest and the longest running and the one with the most high expectation outside of the Palladium, Michael really cares about this. There's no 90% will do, and that does become a thing in some pantos. You really have to knock it out of the park, and it takes me back to when you lost your voice that time, and you still turned up and did it with half a vocal cord. It was remarkable.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest and open. Before we started that, and during rehearsals, I had an injection, for a Botox injection in my left vocal cord, so I could have some kind of voice. And I was petrified, and I had a little bit of a breakdown. I think I was that scared. I remember, I sank into this little boy who used to call his mum in the middle of the night in tears, thinking my career is over. Even talking now, my voice chokes. But at the thought of it, it was that horrendous. And we got through that show, and I remember reading reviews and the feedback, and I thought, how am I going to do this? And it was amazing. And but the audience pulled me through that year, and I'll always be grateful for that.
The energy you come out with is so extraordinary, and I wonder how you do that. Maybe after sort of Christmas, it's Boxing Day, it's a Saturday. Where do you pull it out of the bag from? Because you go from sitting in this hugely glamorous dressing room to then going on stage in front of 2,000 odd people.
It's my job. And how do nurses and doctors and bus drivers stay awake at the wheel? There are jobs, but people say, oh, they're menial jobs. Well, not to me. I do what I do, and I'm very fortunate to be given whatever you want to call it, the gift or this, a talent or whatever. But I know those people have worked bloody, can I say bloody?
Yes.
They've worked bloody hard.
Go further if you like.
They've been... let me draw my trousers. No, they've you have to pay for that. They pay. They earn. They earn what they earn, and they pay a good hard-earned money. And there's no way. I don't care if there's 50 people sat there. They will get a Saturday night performance. Every performance. I don't hold back, and anyone who does, I'm saying, look, you'll. If you don't come up to where I want to be, you'll stand out. So this is the present, what we've set. We've raised the bar, give it 100%. And you just pull it out of the bag, because why would, I used to dream about doing this when I was a postman, and now I do it. It's hard work. I'm exhausted, and that's why you see me disappear for 6 months of the year. I just sort of collapse. I go in a very dark place.
I get your analogy, but the thing is, if a doctor ruins the brain surgery, only the nurse is going to know about it, whereas 2,000 people are just going to stare at you if you're not funny. That's the difference.
Yeah, and that's quite... I mean, luckily, I've been blessed with, funny bones, and I can stare back and sort of get a laugh out of anything. I don't know where it comes from. Certainly not my parents,
It's interesting, though, because you come across as a variety entertainer, sort of in the ilk of Shane Ritchie and Brian and Joe and those people who can just do it effortlessly. Yeah. But you're a proper actor at heart. That's where you start.
Yeah, it is. Well, it's funny. I always wanted to be an actor, but I mean, comedy always came first to me. But I never ever wanted to be an act. I wanted to be an actor. So, and I think that there's plenty of ways of being funny without doing a cabaret act or a spot. So I don't gig it. People say, "Well, would you do stand up?" I said, "No, I don't do it. That would drive me insane." Because I'm a perfectionist. It's got to be great. So my real depth of what I really want to do as an actor is the comedy acting, the dramatic acting. If somebody said, "Oh, you've got a casting for Peaky Blinders," bring it on. I'm like that. I was up for Game of Thrones 3 times. Never got it missed out. But I've played guest lead in Casualty. I've done the guest lead in Doctors. So I love that dramatic side. And I think sometimes good comedy performers make very, very good dramatic.
Wasn't it the episode when you had your piles removed on Doctors? I think that was the episode.
Well, I couldn't sit down for a week.
You were on a beanbag at the time.
It was a rubber ring, actually.
What are we going to get this year? I mean, the thing about Panto at its best is these big production pieces where you get to shine. There's 1 or 2 or 3 of them in every show. I presume at this point, as we talk mid-September, you're already thinking, if not sorted it.
Yeah, well, I start the thinking process very early on because we have to, which can be painful. And it also depends on who's the casting. So once I know who cast it, once I knew Leslie was coming back, I'm like, brilliant. Instantly, we have a connection. So I'm really looking forward to that. Last year I did the flags and things like that. I'm working on a new lip sync idea. It's just placing, at the minute it's like a big jigsaw and you think, I'll do that there. Well, that will change. Maybe not. Got a lovely closing routine. Which is great.
Hang on, I can see your brain whirling there.
Yeah, I'm thinking today is very much about thinking, bro. I start getting creative.
You're excited by this finale, I can tell.
Yeah, no, that would be fun. I mean, but there's something I'm doing in this one, which is I think the audience are going to absolutely love it, and I'm very proud of it. And it's like a celebration of the 120th birthday. I've squeezed it in, written it into a scene. So it's Snow White's a brilliant story. So the comedy I don't like it's the variety acts go and do it. I don't like that. Any comedy can come out of the character based and the story based comedy. Do it like that, which is a bit cleverer rather than just going, next. That's what I'd prefer to do. And this particular routine is, like I said, a celebration of all the people that have been on the stage at the Hippodrome and all the shows set to certain bits of music. It's been done before, but I've made my own, and I think they'll go nuts for it.
You've got a new star that was just added to the bill last week in Jack Yarrow, who of course has been phenomenal in Joseph at the Palladium, a remarkable talent. Please, can we have him do something from Joseph and the 7 dwarfs appear from under his amazing coat? Can we? It's bound to happen, sure.
With a big smile on their face. Grumpy's happy all of a sudden.
Is it fun doing this one particularly? I mean, I think Cinderella, we had it a couple of years ago, which is just magical to me. Probably the most beautiful of pantos, but this one gives you more sort of story to play with. It must be great to have Snow White.
Well, totally, because in a manner of speaking, that's why I'm just rewriting the script now. I've just met Faye. All of a sudden, Muddles is no longer best friends. They've got a little arrangement. Anyway, so they're special friends. Let's leave it at that. I think Snow White's such a good story. Such a good story. You've got the 7 dwarfs, so of course there's the all the obvious un-PC gags that I do and be told off. Well, that's a way of getting away with that kind of thing. But it's all in fun, all in jest. The story's so strong, and that's why this year in particular, it's nice to use the story with the comedy interjected. And I just think it's for the kids as well. Although there's not that many kids out there, it's mainly adults. But I just think stick to the story. When you've got a story, use it. And in this we have, with a great cast, brilliant effects, great comedy, great audience. What more do you want?
The Palladium set, a legend like you. As Panto Star goes, I don't think they come any better than you. Your ethic is remarkable. What you do twice a day is unbelievable. You're such a star. We can't wait to see you here at Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs at the Birmingham Hippodrome. Matt Slack, thank you for your time.
Very kind, Alex, as always. Thank you very much.